Sure.
All right, guys. We got a good show for you today. We have Kaden Cobb. He goes to Fenwick, Vanderbilt, Boston College, Ball State. Those are some of the schools that have offered him. Thanks for coming on, man.
Appreciate you having me, man. Good times.
Hey, so everyone's got like a different story of how they get into like their sport, right? For you, what made you decide to get into football?
I was just like a lot of kids we were thrown into it by our parents. But I ended up taking off with it, just loving it. I grew up playing about 4 or 5 sports. I swam, basketball, football, baseball, all that stuff. So I really did everything as a kid. And then, I wouldn't really say I picked up, a genuine love for the game until about 8th grade.
Yeah.
I would probably say I played basketball more. I did the whole AAU thing. I was ranked, all that stuff, all that hoopla.
Yeah.
Really picked my school really to obviously play football, but I had a big love for basketball, so I was gonna play basketball a lot more. But I started football at a young age, kindergarten. Played with a lot of my still friends to this day. But yeah, just like a lot of kids, I was thrown into it at an early age, and as time went on, gradually gained a love for it and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy. You talked about like basketball. That was like my sport till I got into it, and I switched to another sport. I think, and it's crazy to think. What was that? What made you decide to choose like football over basketball? For me, it was injury. But what about you?
Um, I would say about freshman year. So I just started taking off a lot with football. A lot of recruiting started picking up. I'm trying to think. Basketball. I started on varsity as a freshman for basketball at Fenwick. And it was just a lot, man. The basketball season, practices, games, pressure, a lot of stuff for a 14, 15-year-old kid,
Yeah.
Going right into high school. And if I could do it again, I wouldn't play varsity. And in the basketball sense, it was a lot. So I ended up taking my sophomore year off just to focus on football. I ended up getting a few scholarships for football, so it ended up working out. And then I felt like sophomore year I took off. Junior year, COVID hit.
Yeah.
Wasn't gonna risk playing basketball before the football season, risk getting hurt or any of that stuff. So just put it down. Really, I really said I was done. I'm only like 6'2", 6'3", so
Yeah.
I wasn't really. I'm short in the basketball world, and I played down low my whole life. I haven't played down low in high school. I just not out tough, but I liked it. I enjoyed the sport a lot. And I just really put it down after my freshman year. I still hoop all the time, go to local parks, still get it in. After a football workout at the school, I'll put up the shot machine, get up a few shots, and I'm still around a bunch with basketball. I just don't play on any organized teams, or my godfather has a team, AAU team, so I'll play a few tournaments with him during the summer just to get out in condition and play a few rounds.
Yeah, we always say on the show, I feel like every episode, man, things happen for a reason,
Exactly.
You talked about COVID. I wanted to hit into that. With everything like shut down, right? It was hard, probably with your receivers and work on something. How did you make the most of it, and stay prepared with football?
Yeah. So it's crazy. So COVID hit like March.
Yeah.
March. It really shut everything down recruiting wise, especially with the team. We didn't really know what was going to happen. We didn't know if we were going to have a season or not. Obviously, didn't end up having a season until later in this year. Early this year. So we really just, as a team, and especially my receivers, just got out through as much as we could. I ended up having foot surgery. Late July, early August, just because I knew we weren't gonna have a football season. So I got that out the way. I sat for 3-4 months. Just really learned our new system in football. Mentally, I was still throwing, just obviously with a boot on. I was still doing all that stuff. So COVID was tough, man. It hit guys like me pretty hard. I know it hit a lot of guys that weren't. I was lucky enough to be recruited before all that stuff. But I know a lot of guys that took a big toll on the recruiting aspect, especially with COVID. Just not being able to get out and, visit places and be around the team more. We had a new coach come in January. We didn't really get as much reps in with him as we wanted. We weren't able to be around the team as much, especially with him, build a bond that we wish we could have. Obviously, we got stuff going in the summer, but the first 3-4 months would have been good to just be around, each other more, especially as a team, with some guys moving on to varsity and a lot of us returning and getting just, everything down packed, the timing and everything.
Yeah. You talked about your new coach. I have to ask, he came from Kent State, has a good football background. How was that transition? Did he try to keep a lot of the traditions that you guys had in the past, or did he come in, start off from scratch, new system, new stuff? How was it with you?
We basically cleaned house. Besides some position coaches, my position coach stayed, receiver coach stayed, some of the defensive guys stayed. We basically cleaned house. Otherwise, we had a new offensive system come in. A lot of our old traditions we kind of sweeped. Really started from scratch, really, and it's tough to start from scratch, and you're doing it all over Zoom and virtually. So that was super hard, man. I'm glad he's here now, but it was just the timing. The timing sucked really when he came in, because we tried to make the most of everything, but we got a month in of weights shut down with COVID, and we weren't able to get back on the football field till I think June, July. I only got about 2 weeks in with him really of throwing and having him coach me and stuff. I had to become a coach in my own sense.
Yeah.
But no, otherwise, I'm glad he came in. We literally clean slate.
Yeah.
It sucks that the timing it happened, but I'm glad he came, and we're building now. We've been getting after it, and especially with the COVID protocols lifting and everything, when we're in there 4 days a week lifting, throwing, and getting all this stuff in. So that's good now. That it was a rough year, but we were getting past it.
Yeah, I got to ask, you only got to play a couple games this season, but how do you feel? How was that coming back, just getting on the field playing? How do you think you did and everything?
So it was crazy. Our first game got canceled due to COVID.
Yeah.
We had to sit for 10 days. Had 1 day of practice, got thrown into the next game. We were off for 10 days and then played our first game of the season. Didn't go as we planned. Didn't go so well. Second week, we played Marmion Academy. Windy day. We just glad to be on that field though, getting it in. Yeah. I go down, I get hurt. I ended up separating my collarbone.
Yeah.
So I only got seven quarters in my whole junior season. And all hell breaks loose besides that, recruiting wise and football wise. And I was just like, damn, man, it just had to happen right now. Can't blame COVID. It happened at the end of the day. Yeah, what happened. Didn't get as much football as I wanted to play. Within the past 2 years, year and a half, 2 years now, I really only played 2 games. And it sucks. But we're getting back in the flow of things. I'm off the injury now. I'm back throwing. I've been slinging around a lot, so that's the good part. But the year sucked in general. We only played 5 games as a team. Sucky time frame, but I'm glad that the guys were able to get all their games in, and I was able to coach them along, especially my backup.
You're not the only one. One of my good friends, his name's Davis Alexander. He plays Portland State. His junior year, right? He was like a 3rd-round projection. COVID canceled the season. Then this year, he only got 1 game, and his draft stock's gone. He's coming back for a 5th year because he went from going to be an NFL quarterback, and then no one's seen him play in 2 years. I was talking about it, and he's like, "I'm just rusty, man. I can't play." Yeah,
no, it sucks, man. Especially the quarterback position, they take a big toll, man. Especially with recruiting. I can only imagine what scouts want to see college players throw in person and all this stuff, because it just sucks. We get as big as we want, as fast as we want, but at the end of the day, we got to throw in person. We had to wait a year and a half to get that opportunity. And I can only imagine how he feels, being gypped on his season. Obviously, the guy grants another season, but he's trying to be in the league right now. I can imagine he's trying to be getting paid. But I guess it's all I can't even say perfect timing because we all went through COVID, so we all were affected. Some schools more than others, some states more than others, but we're all just trying to get through it, man. Trying not to make as many excuses as we can and trying to make the best of it.
Yeah. I was watching your highlights over the years, and I think I've got to talk to like 10 of probably top 20 quarterbacks in the country. One of the favorite players I've gotten to watch, a lot of people, I think there's like a stigma over the years of being like a left-handed QB, and I feel like it started to change. What's that big advantage of being a left-handed quarterback?
True. Advantages and disadvantages. As a kid, you're growing up, you're like, oh, lefty quarterback, man. Like you're gonna get paid big bucks one day, man. They want lefty quarterbacks these days. I mean, it's a difference. I mean, the only lefty in the league right now is Tua.
Yeah.
Not saying it's like boycotting lefties. I mean, you just don't see it that much, and it makes myself unique in a unique aspect. I probably say there's probably only about 2 or 3 quarterbacks that are lefties in my grade that are really, highly recruited and getting all that stuff. I mean, some receivers say it spins off the hand difference. It's harder to catch because it comes differently, but I mean, I never saw it as a flaw or a defect. I had 2 schools tell me they just don't recruit left-handed quarterbacks, and I was like, okay, like I can't do anything about that. But yeah, I mean, it hasn't really been a defect. Hasn't been a crazy success rate, but it's been good. I mean, I take big pride in it. I mean,
yeah,
it's fun being a left-handed quarterback. People look at you and think you're different, so why not?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I bet those schools wish they wouldn't have said that to Tua down the line.
I can only imagine, man. I mean, and he doesn't have the most size, but that man can spin it. I mean, he's a dog.
I got to ask you, we talked about, recruiting for, how's that process went? You went to Western Kentucky June 8th, right?
I did. I was there. I was at Western Kentucky June 8th. I just got back from Duke, going at Duke. I'll be at Ball State this week. So, I mean, I probably had the longest recruiting process than anyone in not only the state, but the country. I mean, freshman year, I get a lot of hype. I have a decent freshman year. I didn't play varsity, but I did good enough to get to start talking to some schools. I was talking to probably the whole Big Ten, some Big 12 schools. A lot of ego filled the head, as a young kid. Get sophomore year, have an average sophomore year. Do okay. Get some. I'm trying to think. So yeah, sophomore year ended in November. Got my first offer in March. I think a week after COVID broke out. I got from Northern Illinois. Started getting, second offer was Missouri, and then Boston College, and then starting to get others. And then really, COVID really shut everything down. A lot of schools stopped talking to me based off something I couldn't even prevent. And I was not playing in my junior season in the fall. So, I mean, I trying to think. I mean, recruiting was pretty crappy. I mean, it was still good. I was still talking to a great number of schools. Put on good weight. I was tightening up my release, and everything was looking good, man. And then junior year comes, I get hurt, and it wasn't just any injury. I mean, it was your prized possession injury. My arm, which is what they need to see. So a lot of schools were skeptical. So I was talking to a lot of people, man. It sucked. A lot, man. I was talking to a lot of schools, man, before the season, from Washington down to Baylor, up to schools in New York.
Yeah.
It was all over the country, really. And then I get hurt. I try to commit somewhere, just thinking crazy, just trying to get it all over with. Schools say no. That was the first time I really was like told no in the recruiting process, and that takes a big toll, man. And it sucks, really. Nobody wants to be told no, especially because of an injury that you couldn't prevent. In a crazy year already. It still was the dead period, so I'm literally trying to send out videos and everything. Like I can't even throw. So it was crazy times. I would say about a week after I got hurt, Duke called me, and they were like, we still just want to see you throw, man. And that was big because I mean a lot of the Power Five, a lot of the bigger schools I was talking to just said they wanted to wait till my senior season, and I'm not waiting till my senior season. So you called me. I just got back from there. I'll talk to them down the line and probably have a decision made by July 1st, man. That's the plan.
Awesome.
There's like a mini dead period early July, so I'm trying to get it out the way, get it over with. Not that I'm in a rush, but I feel like I've narrowed some schools down that stuck it out with me. So they still like me, all this stuff. So yeah, I have a few more visits scheduled, and then hopefully I have that decision made by July 1st, and I'm locked and loaded and ready and done.
Yeah, you're preaching the choir, man. I was 21. I'm playing tennis. I was basketball, but I got injured. Tried to find a sport.
Right.
That was a sport for me. It's doesn't make money. So I had offers from like Iowa, Minnesota, teams cut because if they're not making money, they're getting cut right now. I started off with like 20 big offers, and I had probably 15 of the teams get cut because they just don't have them anymore.
Yeah.
So from like, hey, I knew I was going to this school. Then they got cut, and I was like, oh, this is my next one. And then finally, I ended up committing at a school in Patriot League because they are, it's a great school academically, but also play. But it gets tough in those periods. People don't realize.
I mean, you want to go to the bigger schools, man. It just you want to be at the Iowas and the Minnesotas and everything. I mean, obviously Patriot League, great education and everything. I know how you feel though. I mean,
it's a mental game. People don't realize it takes a mental toll on you.
It does a lot, and that's not talked about enough. Is the mental health aspect that football players and all sports go through. You're preached by all these men that you're this good stuff, this good product, and then 20 seconds happens, and all of a sudden you're nothing in their eyes. I mean, we get it's a profession, it's a game. They still got to feed their families at the end of the day, but it just sucks, man. You go from being that guy to now you're just trying to survive, trying to get by in the recruiting world, trying to pick a school. I mean, luckily you were able to pick a school. A lot of schools stuck it out with me, so I'll be able to pick a school within these next few weeks. And it's a different road for everybody, especially with the crazy times, man. I mean, your class got it very rough.
I committed without revisiting my school. That was me. It was great.
I mean, I could only imagine if I was a class of 21 and this happened. I would be so shitty. I don't mean to cuss or anything, but like I'd be so crappy, man, and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's whatever though. I mean, it'll work out in the end. Wherever I end up, it'll work out with the right school with the right people. So happy to see where I end up in the next few weeks.
Yeah, you're preaching to it. Final few questions, Jim. A couple of your wide receivers, man, they're D1 talents themselves. You got Max and Ian. What's it like playing with them every week? Do you think it helps you any getting ready, for college, throwing to guys that are college level receivers?
Yeah, 100%. And they're just the guys that get the recognition. I mean, I've got two other guys. Brian Hunt. We had one guy that played running back and receiver, Danny Kent. Other guys aren't getting the love, maybe based off height and other attributes like that. But besides that, I mean, Ian and Max, they're outstanding players. I mean, going to two guys that are 6'3", 6'4", on a regular basis, you get used to going to that level and that high attributes that they carry. Ian's going to Cincinnati. Max is doing very well in the recruiting process right now. He's putting on a show in June. It just makes life a lot easier. We rely on each other I rely on them to catch my ball, and they rely on me to get them the ball. So we've also had a relationship for a long time. I've known Ian since kindergarten. I've known Max since 4th grade, 3rd grade.
Yeah.
So just a lot of connection with that stuff, and throwing to them on a daily basis is not too bad. Not many quarterbacks at high school level are grateful enough to have guys like that to catch their balls. But it's great. No, it's great having them, and their recruiting process is just as unique as mine right now. They're trying to, Ian's making sure he's still locked in with Cincinnati. Max is trying to find a home, and I'm trying to find a home too. And got a lot of great guys on that family team, and we're all just trying to get it in right now.
Yeah. I got to ask, growing up, right? Was there like a player you like grew up like modeling your game after, looking up to, or was there not really anyone?
Not on my game. I just try to play my own game at the end of the day. But obviously, every kid's got an idol. Mike Vick was my idol, still is. Obviously, all the crazy stuff that happened with him. But at the end of the day, his game is unmatchable. Obviously, there's not many lefty quarterbacks, besides Steve Young to look up to. So I really tried to look after, model my game after a bunch of lefty quarterbacks. I'm an Aaron Rodgers guy.
Yeah.
So those three, Steve Young, Mike Vick, and Aaron Rodgers, the most. I wouldn't say I play like them. I just, try to watch as much film as I can on them and study how they, view the game and, try to get some of my mechanics like them and, flicking the ball. Just Mike Vick could flick the ball 70 yards on the field, and anybody trying to get to that level of status, and whether you're lefty or righty, but those were definitely my guys growing up.
Yeah. We always finish off with these final two questions. Down this line in your journey, everyone's got a different journey. We always preach that here. What's like the best piece of advice you heard to this point?
Just in general, like high school recruiting, anything.
It could be anything. It's like that best piece. And, we always try to take away a couple things,
Right. That's definitely just don't take anything for granted. I know it's a cliche and corny, but once you live it, it's different once you live it and you actually experience it. Because you hear your whole life, you hear from older people, you hear from people that maybe aren't fortunate enough to have what you have, and until it actually hits, it's crazy. It hit me. I know maybe it hit you a little bit in some ways. Taking stuff for granted. 3 months ago, 4 months ago, I felt like I had the world in my hands. I felt like all I needed was just 4 or 5 games, and I'm gonna get all the offers in the country. I'm gonna be going on all these crazy visits and stuff. And I got hurt. I took it for granted. I took each day for granted. I was thinking about the long run rather than my game the next day. And that's a big thing that I like to tell a lot of the younger generation, even the older generation. Maybe they haven't experienced that yet. But especially the younger guys, whether they're in middle school, a few years younger, maybe freshman, sophomore, any of that. Just don't take anything for granted, really, at the end of the day.
Yeah. All right. This is the final question. Let's finish this one. When your football career is over down the line, how do you want people to remember yourself? It's a tough one.
It is. That I never gave up. To keep fighting. That's gonna be. I hope that's my motto. A lot of people talk about me. I just kept fighting. Yeah. I lived not a normal high school career. Nobody ever. Maybe in the early 1900s, nobody ever has lived through high school and had to deal with COVID. Recruiting, maybe just 2 years of people, class of 21, class of 22. Sophomores and freshmen, I guess, did, but not really. They didn't really have any serious problems to worry about, I would say. That's all I would really say is Kaden kept fighting. Whether it was football in school, he had a crazy recruiting process, school process, just social in general. He had a year and a half off being in the house. He made the most of it when he could. He got hurt. A lot of pressure was put on him and making decisions that, not always ready to make or wanted to be made. Just kept fighting. That's gonna be a lot of slogans for a lot of the kids in my grade and yours especially. They had to keep pushing through this crazy time because we all weren't trying to live through COVID and everything. But it happened. We weren't trying to deal with it, but end of the day, it happened, and we gotta just go through it and like I said, keep fighting.
Yeah. Well, Kaden, we appreciate you coming on, man. Just giving athletes like yourself a voice. That's what we try to do here. So when you coming on, we really appreciate that a lot.
I appreciate you having me. And I like what you're doing, man. It's good to get the word out from everybody's perspective and stuff. So good luck to you, especially if you're going to college and stuff. So
thank you, man. I appreciate it.